Yo, what's going on, YouTube? Hope you guys are having a great morning. Let's go ahead and just jump right into the mess. Now, guys, I want to put you up on game on how JD and Brian Michael Cox decided to backpedal everything that they supposedly said in regards to Jay-Z taking the deal with the NFL. JD said he never confirmed to Funkmaster Flex that Jay-Z advised him not to take the NFL deal. Also, Dame Dash sounds off on Jay-Z. I also have a clip on what he had to say in regards to Jay-Z taking the deal with the NFL. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and play the Dame Dash clip first because it's rather shorter. All right, and then I'll be back.
Not surprised you at all because that seems particularly shady.
Listen, if you ask anyone in the industry, it's a common knowledge that Jay ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Define ain't shit for our audience.
He's
here.
about the bag. You
Right.
know, we all know that. It's about he's self-preserving, period. Like, you know, it's just that the people he does it to don't have like Beyonce next to him. They don't have that kind of a power. But, you know, this dude here, everyone's looking. So I just think he kind of like, you know, like he used to do that shit. He's like, it's not even like a secret. You know, he do that shit to me with girls. Like, you know, he'll be like, you know, I'll be talking to a chick and I'll be like, yo, she asked me to do this, that, and the third. And he'd be like, I wouldn't do it. And then the next day he's wifed her. And I'd be like, oh, that's some funny shit.
Right.
You know what you're dealing with when you deal with Jay. You know, Jermaine Dupri, I feel like, you know, for me to talk, it's hard because I can't completely be objective, but it's the news of today.
Despite the speculation that Dame Dash could still be bitter on what happened between him and Jay-Z, at this point, I really don't care about that dynamic because there's nothing that Dame Dash can say to get in the good graces of Jay-Z. And so I think that Dame Dash is just keeping it real. And the one component that Dame Dash touched on in this small segment is the fact that he said, you can ask anybody in the industry, Jay-Z ain't shit. And in my estimation, that's a compelling statement because I would like to know who these people are in the industry that feel that way about Jay-Z. Because it seems that people are scared to speak on Jay-Z in a negative manner because they are in fear of losing their position in the industry and ultimately getting blackballed. And so in this next clip that I'm about to play for you all, it seems that Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox are two of those individuals that are afraid of Jay-Z. In this interview that I'm about to show you, it seems that Jay-Z reached out to Jermaine Dupri and told Jermaine to pick a platform to go and clear this whole speculation up that I told you not to take the deal from the NFL. Because when I tell you that Jermaine Dupri was reneging on those claims and Brian Michael Cox was backpedaling everything that he said on his podcast about Jermaine Dupri being told by Jay-Z not to take the deal, it just seems like the two of them were in fear for some reason. So guys, anyway, let's get to the clip and then I'll be back.
That was one of like maybe 6 topics last week. You know what I mean? I spent maybe 3 minutes on it in that one little clip. And people don't even talk about what I said at the end of that clip. You know what I mean? At the end of it, I say, yo, I'm not condemning it. I think that, you know, if Jay is involved, I'm optimistic that this is something that could be positive. You know what I mean?
I didn't hear about none of that.
Yeah, like if you open up that, you know, the Complex, whatever, I saw something earlier on complex.com, they actually put it in the article, but it's like in the article.
Way in
you know, the headline
people
is
don't
like,
read.
Exactly. And I learned that too this week, that people don't read. You know what I mean? And,
so the man that we're discussing is sitting here, like we're not talking about him while he's sitting here. Jay, when you heard that, what was your morning like when you woke up to that whole, your man said that?
Just as you haven't heard me speak right now, right? I ain't say nothing while he was saying that, and that's exactly what happened with this. I didn't say anything, right? So, it's interesting how people just start taking Jermaine said. I never said anything, right? And it got to a point where it was like people was calling me TMZ, this person, that person, do an interview. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to say anything because I didn't say nothing. So therefore, there's no need for me to say anything. And I thought that was going to go away, honestly. I thought me just not saying anything, you know, it's media, it's press, it's gonna do what it's gonna do.
Right.
Then Brat called me yesterday. and said that they was doing a thing on Dish Nation, and she felt away. And when it starts affecting people within inside your circle,
Right.
because you don't say nothing, you got to say something, right? And I feel like that's why I'm here. You reached out to me. I didn't,
I texted you. I was like, "Do you even want to talk about this?"
I told Tigger I wasn't gonna come up here.
And to piggyback on him too, the same thing. Like when it went viral on Saturday, and I saw people sending me, I didn't. If anybody ever followed me on social media, I've not said one thing else about it. You know, I've gotten the calls too. TMZ, everybody, Van Lathan's, everybody done called me too, and I've been like not responding because I felt like it was gonna go away too, but
But yeah, so everybody, I didn't even call Cox. I just, I mean, B Cox, by the way, because I don't want people out there.
Exactly.
Like,
Pause.
Pause. I didn't call B Cox because, like I said, I felt like each person in the world has their own opinion and how they feel and what they do things, right?
Right.
As he mentioned, people in my own city, the city of Atlanta, and the people that's listening, people was dogging me out, tearing my name apart for throwing concerts in Centennial Park.
Leading up to the Super Bowl.
Not the Super Bowl.
Right.
Not halftime, not anything. People were around here going 8 on me, right?
Right.
So he and I had a conversation about that, and the conversation that we had was just, I was like, well, I just want to see where this is going, because I had people on radio stations that I never even knew was doing radio shows just going crazy on me, like these like podcasts or something like that. And it was a situation where I met with parents, the parents of kids who have been victims of police brutality, right? So I met with them, and it was like the first time that I had ever done anything like this, where I was going to have a meeting with these people. So first of all, I heard my son from New York. He got on. He did something on his Instagram where he was dissing me, and it's like, yo, Jermaine, and he basically said that and I kind of said, I think in a press something when I was doing the Super Bowl thing, that I was basically trying to do action, right? Same thing Jay-Z just basically said on the clip. Like, I was putting my mouth in action. You know what I'm saying? So I said I would meet with these people and have them come to Centennial Olympic Park. We'll do something, whatever, to try to raise awareness to what's going on.
Right.
So I took this meeting with the families. During this meeting, the families was very, very upset at me.
Really?
Really, really upset. And this stuff that people, I mean, it's on my Instagram. It's like not no secret or nothing like that. Right. These people were going crazy on me. I'm the only person sitting in these meetings, by the way. So before the meeting, I felt like it was going to be a lot of tension. So I flew my son down here from New York, and I had him go with me to the meeting. During the meeting, one of the parents, the mothers, she started to speak. And when she spoke, she told me that I was taking blood money. She said, Jermaine, you're taking blood money. And it hit really, really hard. Like, it was really like a damn moment. Like, wow, right? So in that moment, I was catching so much flack from just trying to do something for Atlanta.
Right.
That I started to back out. Right? I started, as they asked me to do things more and more that said NFL, I would start saying, I'm in the studio. I'm cool. You know what I mean? I would do as much as I could do for what was going on with the Centennial Olympic Park, but I was kind of like, hey, right? So, long story short, Hove called me when he saw this clip, right? And he called me and we talked about the clip. The reason I came up here today is to just make sure that I let everybody know he never told me don't do what I was doing.
Okay.
Right? And I think that that's the part that I see Flex said, confirmation, everybody, like, when I tell people that he and I spoke, they run with that. That's not a secret. Everybody knows Jay-Z's my man, right? Me and Jay-Z is like this.
Right.
So, we speak, and it's not, I didn't think that my friends and myself, me speaking to my friends is like a secret, right? So, you asked me when I walked in here, did I speak to Flex? Yes, I spoke to Flex. Right. And I told Flex, I spoke to Hov. Right. Me and Hov spoke. From there, I don't have no control. Capital letters on Twitter. Wow. I don't, but I mean, like I said, I wanted to make sure that, because I see a bunch of people on all these things saying, JD, how could you let that man talk you out of a deal, right? It was never nothing like that. Nothing like that. What I felt like B. Cox was speaking on was in theory. Right. Because I was in the mix. 100%, and everybody knows that. If you live in this city, you know how deep I was in with what was going on. I went to Wall Street and rung the bell with Roger Goodell and the mayor of the city. Right. I was in the mix. Right. I had conversations with the NFL, Killer Mike, Brian Michael Cox, the city of Atlanta, about social justice. We had these town hall meetings that people of around here, if you was invited to go to, right?
Exactly.
So therefore, I want people to understand that, I think people feel like, because I was in the mix, I could have been more part of what was happening, as opposed to it being a straight no. Because I never, as many people were saying, don't do it. Right. I never stopped doing what I was doing. Right. So if anybody thinks that's what happened, no. What did happen was I was catching so much pressure from my community. I never seen this before, and I didn't sign up for this. Right. I signed up to try to give Atlanta a week of free concerts in Centennial Park, and I got all this other stuff coming along with it. And with that being said, that's the gist of the whole thing.
Talking to Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox.
All right, so it seems that Jermaine Dupri has become the new PR person for Jay-Z, because he's backpedaling. He's also saying that Jay-Z never told him not to take the deal from the NFL, that conversation never happened. But what I find interesting is that I haven't heard Jay-Z say that he didn't tell JD not to take the deal from the NFL. We need to hear it from Jay-Z's mouth. Now, at the same time, when Brian Michael Cox was on his podcast talking about the whole ordeal, he clearly stated that Jay-Z and JD had a conversation, and Jay-Z clearly told JD not to take the deal. Now, Brian Michael Cox and JD are close friends. In fact, JD put Brian Michael Cox on. You mean to tell me that now I'm supposed to believe that JD didn't have a private conversation with his best friend and Brian and say that Hov said that it wouldn't be a great idea for me to take the deal with the NFL? When this whole thing exploded about Jay-Z taking the deal with the NFL, we have to remember that when JD was in talks of taking that same deal, social media was ripping him a new one for even entertaining the thought. And so Brian was a witness of seeing what Jermaine Dupri was going through with all the hate and the backlash that he was receiving for potentially teaming up with the NFL, right? And so I believe that Brian went onto his podcast and told the truth. But what happens is when you have two men in JD and Brian that are two scared puppies and they are afraid to stand on the truth, and they're going to listen to what Jay-Z tells them to do, then of course you expect them to go onto a platform and backpedal in the form and in the fashion that they did. I mean, just two straight up chumps, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I believe ultimately that Jay-Z did tell JD not to take the deal. That's just my opinion. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna let this go because this video is a little lengthy. But at the same time, I want you all to drop down in the comments and let a brother know what you think, all right? Now, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, share this video. And if you're new here, don't be afraid to subscribe to my channel and smash that notification bell to be notified of when I will drop my next video. Thank you guys for watching this video. Be blessed. Peace.